If you are learning modern AI agents, three terms show up again and again: MCP, CLI, and ADK. They sound technical, but the simple picture is this. MCP connects an AI agent to tools and data. A CLI gives you a fast command line way to create, run, test, and deploy that agent. ADK is the development kit where you define the agent, its instructions, and the tools it can use. In the next 8 minutes, we will turn those three ideas into one practical beginner workflow. Think of an AI agent like a helpful software teammate. The model is the brain, but a brain alone is not enough. It needs instructions, memory, tools, and a way to act safely. ADK gives developers a structured way to create that agent. MCP gives the agent a standard doorway to outside systems, like files, calendars, databases, APIs, or design tools. And the CLI is your keyboard control panel. You use it to start the project, run prompts, check results, and move toward deployment. If you remember only one thing from this map, remember the order: build the agent first, connect only the tools it needs, then use commands to prove the workflow can repeat. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. The easiest explanation is that MCP is like a universal connector for AI apps. Without a standard, every AI app needs a custom integration for every service. With MCP, a tool or data source can be exposed through an MCP server, and many AI clients can connect to it in a similar way. So MCP does not magically make a model smarter. It gives the AI a cleaner, safer way to discover tools, ask for context, and request actions. That standard matters because the same server can become useful across different clients instead of being rebuilt for every single app. MCP has three main participants. The host is the AI application you are using, such as a coding assistant or desktop AI app. Inside that host, an MCP client maintains the connection. The MCP server is the program that exposes useful context or actions. For example, a file system server may list and read files. A database server may run safe queries. A design server may expose design assets. The user still needs permissions and review, because connecting tools also increases responsibility. CLI means command line interface. It is the terminal way to control a tool. For beginners, the terminal can look intimidating, but it is powerful because commands are repeatable. You can install a toolkit, create a project, run an agent with one prompt, evaluate it, and deploy it using clear commands. In this video, the important example is Agent CLI, a Google CLI and Skills toolkit for working with ADK agents. The CLI turns agent development into a checklist you can run again and again. When a command fails, the terminal output also gives you a concrete clue, which is much easier to debug than a vague chat response. ADK stands for Agent Development Kit. It is the place where you define what the agent is, what model it uses, what instructions it follows, and which tools it can call. A simple ADK agent can start with a name, a model, an instruction, and one function tool. Then you can run it locally, open a web interface, add more tools, split work across subagents, and later evaluate or deploy. So ADK is not just a chatbot wrapper. It is a developer framework for building agent behavior. The best first agent is small. Do not begin with a giant business system. Start with one clear job, such as answering questions about a folder, summarizing meeting notes, or checking a simple API. In ADK, you write a root agent, give it an instruction, and attach a tool. Then you run it locally, watch what tool it chooses, and improve the instruction. This loop teaches you the important habit: build one capability, prove it works, then add the next capability. A small agent is not a toy if it solves one real problem. It is the first reliable block in a larger system. Now connect the ideas. ADK can use normal Python tools, but it can also connect to MCP tools. That means your ADK agent can talk to an MCP server for files, maps, databases, or other services, depending on what you configure. A beginner should understand the boundary. ADK defines the agent. MCP exposes external capability. The agent asks for a tool call, the MCP server performs the allowed action, and the result comes back to the agent. This is how an agent moves from conversation into useful work. A practical workflow looks like this. First, install the CLI and set up your environment. Second, create a prototype agent project. Third, edit the ADK agent file, instruction, model, and tools. Fourth, run a local prompt and inspect the answer. Fifth, add an MCP server only when the agent truly needs outside context. Sixth, evaluate the agent with examples, because one good chat is not enough proof. Finally, when the agent is reliable, add deployment support and publish only after review. This keeps the process calm. You are not guessing whether the agent works, you are collecting evidence step by step. Here are the commands to keep in your head. Use the current official docs for exact flags, because tools change, but the pattern stays stable. Set up agent CLI. Create a prototype project. Install project dependencies. Run the agent with a single prompt. Use ADK Web when you want a browser chat interface. Run evaluations before you trust the result. And deploy only when you have reviewed the project, secrets, permissions, and expected cost. Commands are not just setup steps. They are proof that your workflow is repeatable. The more tools you connect, the more careful you should be. Never give an agent broad access just because it is convenient. Use the smallest permission that works. Keep secrets out of prompts. Review terminal commands before running them. Check what files changed. For MCP servers, understand whether they run locally or remotely, and what data they can reach. For ADK agents, write clear instructions and test failure cases. A useful agent is not only powerful, it is predictable, reviewable, and safe enough for the job. Treat every connected tool like a real capability, because from the user's point of view, the agent can now affect real systems. Here is the whole lesson in one simple model. ADK is where you build the agent. MCP is how the agent connects to external tools and context through a standard protocol. The CLI is how you operate the workflow from the terminal: create, run, evaluate, and deploy. Start small. Build one useful tool call. Run it locally. Add MCP only when the agent needs real outside context. Evaluate before deployment. And always keep a human review step. That is the beginner path from AI idea to working agent.